They were married for 15
And
years.
he's
they had
married
2 kids.
again now.
Yes, and
Jimmy
Molly,
Kimmel
she's amazing.
is Jill's brother. In case you haven't Jimmy.
Yeah. So his wife Molly's amazing, and he's still very good to his ex-wife, and like my little brother Jonathan.
And Jonathan's been married.
Little brother, Jonathan. He had like a girlfriend. Like I think they held hands barely, and then he met this woman, and they got married, and they've been married for like I think 14 years now
Kimmel
or something.
clan.
Yeah. My parents have been married for over 50 years. Like
wow,
we are a ride or die group. Like something really has to be broken in a relationship for us to leave it.
Yeah, but you're not sticking through bad relationships. It seems like you will get out at a certain point. What is the key then to the Love and Kimmels? What is the key? Is it laughter?
I mean, I guess picking right. Like it just, I don't know. It just depends on who you ask, and I guess which one in the family you ask. But like my daughter, she had like one little boyfriend in high school for a couple months, but she's super like knows who she is, and she doesn't need a man. She's very like, whatever.
You guys are Irish and Italian?
My dad's German Irish and my mom's Italian, yeah.
Is that play into it, that it's sort of, the big happy family
I think
thing?
so. Like we're very much like, so I've been working on Crank Yankers, and that's Jimmy's show. And then Jonathan is the showrunner for that. So the three of us, it's really me and Jonathan work together on it. I do production for it. And he's, the head of the whole thing. So he's involved in everything. And like today, like we worked with Jimmy, and he was doing some calls today. So it was the three of us, and it was actually cute. The three of us were across the top of the screen, and I took a picture. I sent it to my parents. I'm like, do you want me to frame this? And they're like, we love it. And at the end of the call, when we hung up, we're all like, all right, love you. Bye. Love you. Love you. And it's just funny to me because there's like 9 other employees on the call that are like, okay.
Oh yeah.
That's just the way we are. The family, we're very much like hugging and love, and like we're all together, and we all, if you're with me, you're also with Jamsey. You're all, you know what I mean? Like we're very much a
I want
package.
to audition for Jamsey.
Oh,
is there a
best.
song and dance portion?
No, we like lead people to think that, but no, we just. I mean, I
want gear. I want Jamsey gear.
Like literally, we have it all. I'm very lucky that I have a group of people. I mean, anyone who hears that about our family is always like, "Rah," and then they meet, they're like, oh my God, like we really just genuinely like each other. And anyone that comes into that fold really has to fit that mix. Because otherwise you're looking at them like, why are you not like vibing with my cousin?
I know it's a tryout probably to come into a family like that.
If you
I know. It's
sure.
like you want the family to like you. Mm-hmm. You want, if you date somebody, you eventually want your kids to like them.
Yeah. Most importantly,
cousins and Jamsey, and there's a lot of layers there. Do you think about that when you think about dating somebody or getting in a relationship? You're like, I might like them. I'm not sure how they'll deal with the whole thing. Yes.
Sometimes I'll meet someone that I'm like kind of like tinkering around with, like in my head thinking like, I'm kind of tossing around the like pros and cons. He wears tank tops, like that kind of thing. And I think like, what will my brother say? Like there's a lot of that. Or like if someone has a super dumb name, I'm like, no. And I'll like swipe on them because I do think about that stuff. Like they will be roasted, maybe not to their face.
A super dumb name.
Yeah. Like a dumb name. Like my brother will call you out the minute he meets you if you have a dumb name. He'll like ask you why and where your parents hopped up.
Yeah.
Or
if they call themselves by a nickname and they like, I remember that in college, like people would bring their hometown nickname to it. Like you had to then like train everybody to call you this. Like my name is David, but people call me Guck. I'm like,
why?
This is your chance to lose Guck.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Guck rhymes. It's like the worst.
I know.
Well, my last name's Guckerman. Yeah, okay. Well, at some point we'll figure that out and probably call you Guck on our own.
Yeah,
but
I know.
For you to
let us do that, or they'd wear the Letterman jacket from high school with the nickname on it, and so they make a conscious effort to do that.
It's
that'd
their
be tough
identity.
to date a nickname boyfriend or girlfriend.
Yeah,
they're like, they call me Sparky, and I'm like, I'm not calling you Sparky.
Yeah, ever. I mean, unless you were like Sparky at the Sun Devil, like ASU, you were the guy who did the backflips when the football
You want to
team...
date the ASU mascot? Is that what, like literally Sparky?
No, they'd be too small for me.
But they're acrobatic.
That's another deal breaker.
Short?
You have, not necessarily short, but like you need to be 5'10" or over, only because I don't want to feel like a big Amazon.
How tall are you?
I'm not that tall.
You're like 5'6".
5'6.5", but I like to wear heels.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. But I like to wear heels, and I don't want to feel like I don't want to have to take off one heel and stand on that flat foot for a picture.
My answer to that, is, would you rather date the guy or wear comfy shoes?
No, listen. If a guy was like, if I'm narrowing it down, I would generally say 5'10". But yeah, if I met someone who is terrific and he's 5'8" or something, whatever. So
See,
cool.
You hear
I'll
that
wear
out there,
sneakers.
5'8" fellas?
Yeah, as long your
There's a
personality has to like overshine. But also, there's a lot of very short women out there who
They want really tall guys.
they need to stick with their 5'8". My friend Brian is a short guy.
Yeah.
In fact, I did Heart of the City with Brian. Kevin Hart is, it's his show. And then another friend of ours, J Mac, and another friend of ours, Terrence. I'm 5'6.5". I was the tallest one.
What's Kevin Hart, like 5'4"?
He's like 5'4", and so are all of those guys. And
Stand
I was
on
like,
his
I
wallet.
thought it was hysterical, right?
Yeah.
That I was the tallest one of that group. But like my friend Brian Ritchie, he has a joke about like, he's like, listen, I see these little short girls. She's like 5'1". She's with a 6 foot tall guy. I'm like, hey, that's my ride.
I get it. There's two reasons for that, though. A lot of the short girls genetically want the dude to make up for it in the kids. So they're not
Sure,
short
but
kids.
like-
and there's also the taller guy doesn't want to go out with the taller girl because then he doesn't feel like the taller
He doesn't
guy
look as
anymore.
tall, right.
Like if he's 6'4",
I need a guy who is comfortable in his own height enough to make me comfortable in his own height. Like, that's the personality. Like Jason, my last boyfriend, he wasn't tall. He's 5'10". He likes to say he's a 6-footer. He actually put 6 foot on his driver's license and they didn't question it. And he went around showing everybody like, I am 6 feet tall. I'm like,
yeah, that was like one
one
of your comedian peers made the joke.
Your Yeezys that are 2.5 inches tall are saying otherwise.
Made the joke that 6 foot distance for most guys was 5'10".
Exactly. And it's like I was fine with that because like, but honestly, when they say 5'10" on dating profile, they're probably 5'8.5".
I've taught this on the podcast before. I was 5'4" till I was a senior in high school. I grew 8 inches like in college. I was 6 feet and like a little bit over 6 feet until about a year and a half ago. I got a really bad car accident. I'm 5'11 and a half now.
Perfect height.
I think, but like, can you say you're 6 feet or you're just another liar?
You could say I'm almost 6 feet. I'm almost
6 feet. Mean what? 5'9"? I mean, almost. That's the thing. Almost.
I know we never believe anyone anymore.
5'11" means 5'9".
Yeah.
6 feet means 5'10". 5'10" means 5'4".
125 means 160. Sorry.
It is. Like, we didn't used to have to do that. We'd go out to the bars and be like, I know what you look like.
Well, that's the thing. And that's why I'm so honest, like to the point where I think I turn some people off because I'm like I've not dated, but like talked to a few guys that I had to weed out kind of early because they're like, oh, I watched your stand up. I'm like, oh, you're like Googling me.
But you're gonna Google them if they're performers.
Ew. Yeah. Yeah. But then they like say things that you're like, this is like a stage thing. Like this isn't like my personality. This is like something I was joking about.
So they set you up with a bit. Like
or
they think
something,
they know what you
or
like.
they say something, and I'm like, "Oh my god, how does he know that?" And then I'm like, "Oh, this fool watched because sometimes you get like a random club that'll tape you without your consent, and put the tape up, and you don't even know it's there." And you're like, where did you see that? And they're like, oh, and you're like, oh my God, like calling these people, take it down. It's like the worst set ever.
Yeah, I know. But, everything is findable and Googleable
So
and
annoying.
all this kind of thing.
I
So
know.
are you hopeful for 2021 in your move to Los Angeles? You're the only, you're like going against the traffic.
I know.
Everybody from Los
I'm the
Angeles
salmon.
is moving this way. Yeah.
I know. Everyone's like, oh, you just sold your house. So I sold my house here last Saturday. We put it on the market on Friday and it went on, we listed it on Friday.
Yeah.
And then Saturday we had an open house from 8 to 2. And then from 2 to 8, we had like the scheduled showings at every 15 minutes or whatever. The first people who came that morning at 8 a.m. for the open house, they're the ones who put the bid in that we accepted. And
Well, is it part of you like, oh, maybe we should have asked for more?
they
That was too quick?
offered 30 over the asking price.
Oh, okay.
So we were like, done.
Done.
No,
Don't
yeah.
change.
And just
Yeah.
done. Get it over with. Because we've already bought the house in California.
All right.
So it's just like, get it over with. And, I put a lot of work in these last few months getting it ready.
And you've never lived in California?
I did one summer with Jamsey, the summer of Jamsey, 91. But yeah, that's just
I think I was
then.
nominated for a Grammy. I'm not sure. Summer of Jamsey.
No, that was an Emmy.
Oh, an Emmy. Sorry.
Weird. There was no music. I told you that.
How does Jamsey have no music?
Behind the music, Jamsey. It was that summer for a couple months I lived in LA and my family is all there. So it's like I feel like I
You're
kind
there
of
all
live
the
there.
time,
Yeah.
right?
Literally everyone. I have a few family members in New York still. One aunt in Vegas and everyone else is in LA.
How many Vegas? You graduated high school here?
Yes.
How many of your Vegas friends from your childhood are still in Vegas?
A lot of them.
They stay.
A lot of them. And a lot of my friends. So I left Vegas after my sophomore year. A lot of my friends are still there, which is great because I go back and perform all the time.
Yeah.
And they're there and they come and it's really good to see them. And then a lot of my Arizona friends who I graduated here with in Corona del Sol in Tempe, they are also still here. So it's like a lot of those are two places that people kind of tend to stay. They're good places to raise families. They just are.
It's weird to play shows in Vegas because a lot of times when you play a show around the country, people will come to the show, start drinking, and then maybe by the end of the show, people show up at shows shit-faced in Vegas.
Yeah. You're lucky if they show up.
Or they show up. Yeah, they're drunk at 5.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a little bit of a
thing. So like with Jimmy's Club in Vegas, I liked it better because it was very much more locals were coming to that club. Whereas some of the other ones with like a name like the Laugh Factory or something that people have heard like from California, it was a lot of visitors, tourists.
Yeah.
And tourists are a hard audience because, you want some kind of homogeny, right?
Yeah.
You want like people who are they've got a like mindset.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hard to play off them because you don't really know. You're like, okay, this one's from Wisconsin. This one's from, everyone's from somewhere different.
Yeah.
But if you get like a convention, something that you can find in common, they may be from different places, but it's the consumer, like the electronics convention or the porn convention, whatever it is, you can kind of like tailor your jokes around that where they feel like a community.
Right.
But Jimmy's Club, it was very much a lot of locals, probably because his name's on it.
Yeah.
Since we grew up there, they feel like, and so it was easier to perform there. It was much more like a Tempe Improv.
New York's strange like that. You get people from all over the world who might just show up at your show and they might not speak good English and they're just kind of laughing along and it's weird. But not everybody in New York even has the same New York. So you can do a lot of stuff about being in New York. A lot of people might be like, I want to see comedy in New York or a show in New York, and they might not be.
And there's so much New York. There's so many different New Yorks.
Yeah.
Right? And Long Island, Staten Island, upstate. Like everything's different. So you could really touch on all of it. And
I know. I've done shows in New York and I've done shows in Hoboken and Jersey City. They're 7 miles apart. They might as well be different worlds.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. All right. This is your first time on the podcast. Hopefully not the last time, but we play something called Worst Date or First Date, which means that you have to give us either the greatest first date you ever had in your life, I don't care how old you were, or the absolute worst date you've ever had in your life. Your choice.
God. I don't really think I've ever had a bad date.
Well, the day's not over.
That's very true. God, it's so hard because I've only had like a couple relationships where like
right, but
date-wise.
relationships is different. You didn't go on dates before you got married. You did back in
but like
high school.
Yeah, I guess high school. Geez, nobody really made that much of an effort. I guess my best first date would have been the one that led to like my last relationship. It was just like fun and casual, and we're like, let's just meet in Old Town Gilbert, which is where I live.
Yeah.
Duh. And it was like, let's just meet there and like go from there. And we ended up just sitting at a bar, drinking beer all night. My favorite beer, Orange Blossom by Papago. It's a local Arizona brewer. You guys should really get into it. It's the best. And there was a woman sitting next to us. She was a Native American woman, and she, her name was Mary, and she was very, very intoxicated. And she was talking to us all night, and we pretended to be married. We told her we were married for like 7 years, and we had a whole backstory. We were just coming up with like thing after thing after thing.
Some improv.
It was super fun. It was great. It was like just awesome. And we ended up just like going back to my place, waking up in the morning, going for breakfast, and
that's a first date. Yeah. That's not a bad idea if you vibe right away.
Yeah.
Let's act like we're married for 15 years.
Super fun.
How would the conversation go?
We were even talking about like our therapist. We were just talking.
Are you going to ground him or am I? You could do all kinds.
Exactly. And it was fun because
it was
a lot of banter and fun.
And you could see if they can keep up.
Yes. And he totally kept up. And here we are 3.5 years later, not together anymore. But that's
different. Damn Bumble or whatever.
I know. Enjoy him,
But
Megan.
that's a good date because you brought in the other, so it wasn't just you interviewing each
Right.
other. You brought in somebody from the surroundings.
It broke the ice.
Played a little
But it was
game.
someone neither of us knew, so